I think I know what to do. The World! Well, I guess it's gonna be time that we finally cap off talking about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
This is your path to be. We're all here just for all the fun. Now you're jamming, jamming hard, yeah. Hype it up all once again. Try to hype it up. Now you're jamming, jamming hard, yeah. Hype it up all once again. Try to hype it up.
Right, so for those of you who don't know, obviously this will be the last JoJo's Bizarre Adventure video I'm ever going to cover on the... well, I'll say ever that I'm going to cover on the channel. We will probably end up doing the other JoJo's Bizarre Adventure parts, because obviously, as of this year, Part 7 is finally being adapted into an anime, and obviously I will review it once it eventually comes out. So, without further ado, let's talk about Stone Ocean. So for those of you who don't know, Stone Ocean, or Futon Ocean from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, or Jojo no Kimi no Boken. This is the 6th arc of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, written and illustrated by Hirohiko Araki, known for Bao, Thus Spoke Rohan Kishibe, and Rohan Louvre. It was serialized in Weekly Shonen Jump from December 7th, 1999 to April 8th, 2003. In its original publication, it was titled JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 6, Jolene Cujo, Stone Ocean. The 158 chapters were then later collected into 17 tankobon volumes. It was preceded by Golden Wind and then later followed up by Steel Ball Run. Stone Ocean is the last part set in the original timeline of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. From Steel Ball Run onwards up to now, the story takes place in an entirely separate continuity. An anime adaptation by David Production, known for Urusei Yatsura, the remake, the Ranma 1/2 remake, and Thus Spoke Rohan Kishibe, made an anime adaptation titled JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stone Ocean, which premiered on Netflix worldwide on December 1st, 2021 to December 1st, 2022, for a total of 38 episodes. Since then, Viz Media have been re-releasing the manga in an English hardcover edition, with the first volume coming out back in November 2023, and the final volume coming out in May 2025. So we've got the overall plot of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 6. Set in 2011 Florida, Jolene Cujo, the daughter of Jotaro, is sent to Green Dolphin Street Maximum Security Prison. While imprisoned, she struggles with a long-standing plot agreed between the dead villain Dio and the priest Enrico Pucci. So if you guys have not watched JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, feel free to click off this video and go on Netflix and watch Part 6. But if you don't care about spoilers, there probably will be some up ahead. I might skip over some bits and pieces here and there, but that is to be expected with my videos. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So, Part 6 starts with our new JoJo, Jolene Cujo, who's bashing her head against the wall, a metal bed frame. Same thing that I do every single time when I get home from work and realise I don't actually have a girlfriend. Turns out that she wants to die because the night before she was actually touching herself in the moonlight, and a guard who looks like Tom Cruise,
according to the manga,
we're also immediately introduced to one of our Joe Bros, Ermes Costello. Hermes and Jolene catch a bus ride to the aquarium, or the Green Dolphin Street maximum security prison. Jolene reckons that she'll be out in no time flat at all. But so Jolene has, well, it's mostly because she's innocent, and the court goes about as well for Miles Edgeworth going against Phoenix Wright in court. So Jolene has been set up by this blonde dumb fuck called Romeo, so our JoJo is now in prison and almost kills an elf starting off this bizarre adventure. Later on, Jolene does some Rule 34 bait, and then is not executed. She is then escorted to her cell where we meet her cellmate Gwess, who is completely fucking insane. Jolene then discovers that Gwess has a stand called Goo Goo Dolls and shrinks Jolene down to the size of a rat.
Jolly! ざまあみやがれ! 私の心を踏みにじったからだ! やれやれだわ、グエス。あんた、何にでも名前はあるって言ったわよね。私も名前をつけるわ。ストーンフリー。私はこの石の海から自由になる。聞こえた？ストーンフリーよ。これが名前。この刑務所で上下関係があるというのならそれに従うわ。ただし命令するのは私。
After that confrontation, she then gets a visitor, and it only turns out to be our boy, Jotaro Kujo. And is still alive and has had a bit of a drip downgrade. So, some weird Buki shit then happens involving the two JoJo's, as Jolene then wakes up and she takes the room. Well, she sees the room, what it's going to look like when I'm done with it in Destroy Dick December when that comes around. And it turns out that this is all under the influence of a stand user named, well, not the stand user, but the name of the stand, Manhattan Transfer, who's being controlled by a blind sniper, which is really super gay. So once Jolene wakes up and gets Jotaro's ass up, they escape whilst this blind motherfucker starts executing every police guard he sees. But all of a sudden, another stand called Whitesnake appears, bitch slapped Jotaro so hard causing two CDs to eject out of his face, one being his stand star platinum and the other one being his actual fucking soul. Jolene then moves his ass to a submarine and sent the Speedwagon Foundation. So Jotaro is in a complete fucking coma and is in a vegetative state, and Jolene is sent to solitary confinement. Whilst during this time, Hermes then wakes up and discovers that she now has a stand that she calls Kiss. The next day she comes across a fuckwit called McQueen. Who's trying to kill himself, but since Hermes paid him literally any attention whatsoever, any damage done to him, it also she happens to feel as well, which is the power of his stand Highway to Hell. So she tries seducing him and other methods, but then ends up knocking his ass out anyway, and finds out that he has a disc inside of him, and it was being controlled by Whitesnake, and she manages to get caught up in the rest of this shit.
It's almost like that she was fucking asleep this whole time or some shit.
But anyway, her and Jolene are now become complete besties. So a little bit of time passes, and Jolene, along with Hermes and a bunch of named characters, go to the farmlands of the prison because two dudes went missing the night before. So they get fitted with these amazing, fashionable explosives attached to their wrists, and they head out to the farmhouse. And the only guard dies, and along with a few other prisoners, only leaving Jolene and Hermes. So they end up coming in contact with a sentient stand called Foo Fighters. After defeating the stand but not killing them, Foo Fighters then becomes the next JoBro, which pretty much they end up becoming the Speedwagon of the group, more or less. A side quest then happens with Jolene and the girls are just vibing, but they have a pretty neat fight against a stand user, well not stand user, a user with the stand called Marilyn Manson, that is basically a debt collector that makes a bet of Jolene and Foo Fighters to see if they can catch a bull 1,000 times. And then this shit happens.
You cheater! No, I never actually specified the person I'd be playing catch with. The guard counts too. Seems like the collector also approves. Now then, did we have 800 more balls to catch? Or was it 900? You know what? Screw it. Take 1,000!
So after acquiring the stand disc of Star Platinum, Jolene now has to get to the Speedwagon Foundation by carrier pigeon. But she has to get past this dickhead called Lang Wrangler with his stand Jumpin' Jack Flash. Jolene then gets help from Weather Report, who's just a mostly silent guy. He's just a very chill guy with a big poofy hat. Who assists in making a cloud spacesuit, because Lang's stand gets rid of all gravity/oxygen in a specific area. But this also creates another awkward moment for Jolene, who then pisses herself because she's in zero gravity. And when you're in zero gravity, it makes your kidneys feel like they've got too much blood, which is apparently an actual true fact when it's going in zero gravity. Weathers just turns around to him and is like,
"Oh, I did that shit the moment I fucking happened in this. Just don't take a poop in this."
Anyway, Wrangle Boy gets fucking barreled, and poisonous frogs start coming from the fucking sky, and turns out White Snake is actually being controlled by the priest Enrico Pucci. So the Speedwagon Foundation then gets Star Platinum, and Jolene gets put in a gulag. Meanwhile, Hermes then fights a stand called Limp Bizkit, who creates invisible zombies, and also is the killer of Hermes' daughter. Yep, just about happens. Whilst in the gulag, Jolene then gets put through loads of shit.
Literally.
And everyone in the prison cells, which is being controlled by a stand called Survivor, which is basically, it won't stop until it gets all the prisoners to fight each other to the death until there is only one standing.
Get it? Because it's called Survivor.
After most of the people in the area are taken out, a feeble old man comes out and fights Jolene with his stand Dragon's Dream, which is also a sentient stand. After all that wraps up, Jolene is then saved by Foo Fighters and Asui, who's just a trans man that has a really big affection for Jolene. Foo Fighters then buggers off for a bit, whereas Jolene and Asui are travelling in an airboat with a dude called Yo-Yo Ma, who is basically like Gollum, and he's only there to fuck around and be a pain in the ass. Once he's taken out, Foo Fighters then finds out who White Snake's user is, and it's Father Pucci. And then we end up losing Foo Fighters. Rip my dude. A green baby then appears and then gets nommed on by Pucci, and his stand evolves into Sea Moon. He then goes on his way to the NASA station, well, a NASA station, to obtain heaven, leaving Jolene, Emporio, Weather Report, Hermes, and Asui to escape prison. After exploring a bit and finding out that Pucci actually started using help from the Sons of Dio, but apparently Giorno, for some reason, does not appear. I guess he didn't really get his dad's memo. Anyway, after defeating them one after another, Jolene then finds out that Romeo is still alive and well. So our JoJo takes a little bit of payback against the little blonde biatch. Also forgot to mention that there's also a side plot where Weather Report created a bunch of rainbows unconsciously, and anyone that actually touches the rainbows turns into a giant pile of snails. Should have mentioned that beforehand, shouldn't I? Yeah. So Pucci then makes it to NASA, and the world literally turns on its fucking side. The group then gets there, and so does absolutely motherfucking Jotaro, who has now gotten payback, well, not gotten payback, he's gotten back to normal with his stand and soul intact. Pucci then obtains heaven, and his stand evolves again into Made in Heaven, and then ends the whole universe by fast forwarding it so hard that the universe actually restarts until it reached a universe where he didn't exist. And then, we then see that the only survivor of the original universe is Emporio, who then meets a few familiar faces, but then something's different. They're not in prison, and everything seems to be very peaceful, as we all then shed tears with him just as Roundabout plays in the background and we see the silhouettes of all the previous parts. And that is where JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stone Ocean ends. So, aside from that, we are going to carry on with one of the main themes that I've been doing in this series. Not my microphone. I had to get my microphone because obviously I noticed I've been having a few issues with microphones beforehand. Anyway, we're just going to get straight into it where I talk about the localized stand names. So as you guys know, obviously from previous parts of JoJo, well since part 4 onwards, they have actually been localizing stand names since, well, copyright really. So we're going to go straight into it talking about more of them right now. So we've got Stone Free, named after the song Stone Free by Jimi Hendrix. This was all changed to Stone Ocean, the same name as the actual part of JoJo's. Then we've got Kiss, named after the hair metal band Kiss, obviously. This was changed in the English localized version to Smack. Then we've got Burning Down the House, named after the song Burning Down the House by the Talking Heads. This was changed to Burn the House Down. Then we got Foo Fighters, named after the American rock band Foo Fighters. This was also changed to FF in the dub version of JoJo's. Then we got Weather Report, named after an American jazz fusion band, Weather Report. This was changed to Weather Forecast in the English localized version. Then we got Diver Down, named after the album Diver Down by Van Halen. This was then changed to Diver Drive. Then we got Whitesnake, named after the English rock band Whitesnake. This was changed to Pale Snake in the localized versions of JoJo's. Then we got Sea Moon, named after the song Sea Moon by Wings. It was then changed to Sea Moon, as in I Can See the Moon. Then we got Made in Heaven, named after the song Made in Heaven by Freddie Mercury and Queen, and was also inspired by the album Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin. This was changed to Made in Heaven. Pretty much like, think of Iron Maiden but without the iron. Then we got Goo Goo Dolls, named after the American rock band the Goo Goo Dolls. It was then changed to GG Dolls in the... Sorry guys for the slight delay in response because my actual camera footage died and corrupted, unfortunately. But yes, without further ado, we're going straight back into it. So we're starting off with Manhattan Transfer, named after the American jazz vocal group Manhattan Transfer. This stand was then localized to Downtown Transfer. Then we got Highway to Hell, named after the song Highway to Hell by the Australian metal band AC/DC. This was changed to Freeway to Hell in the localized version. Then we have Marilyn Manson, named after the metal singer Marilyn Manson, who is actually one of my favourite bands, by the way. This was then changed to Mary Lynn Manson in the English dub. Then we got Jumpin' Jack Flash, named after the song Jumpin' Jack Flash by the Rolling Stones. This was then changed to Jumpin' Jack Spark in the dub. Then we got Limp Bizkit, named after the new metal band Limp Bizkit. This was changed to Limp Bizkit in the Netflix version, but then was changed to Flaccid Pancake in the game Eyes of Heaven. I know it has nothing to do with the season, but I don't care, I just thought it was funny. Then we got Planet Waves, named after the album Planet Waves by Bob Dylan. This was then changed to Straight Waves in the dub. Then we got Dragon's Dream, named after the company Dragon's Dream, founded by Roger Dean, and also named after the movie Enter the Dragon, starring Bruce Lee. This was changed to Drake's Dream. Then we got Yo-Yo Ma, named after American vocalist Yo-Yo Ma. This was then changed to Ya-Ya Ma in the English version. Then we got Green Green Grass of Home, named after the song Green Green Grass of Home by Peter Wagner. This was then changed to Green 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 Home. Then we got Bohemian Rhapsody, named after the song Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. This was then changed to Bohemian Ecstatic. Then we got Sky High, named after the song Sky High by British rock band Jigsaw. This was then changed to Sky Guy in the dub. Then we finally have Underworld, named after the Welsh electronic band Underworld. It was then changed to Netherworld in the English version. So now we got that all out of the way, we can now move on to the characters of Part 6. Starting off with Jolene Cujo, voiced by Feroz Ai in the sub version and by Kira Buckland in the dub. Jolene is our 6th JoJo and the last in this timeline. She is strong, confident as an overall badass female in anime, which you don't actually see too often, especially in early 2000s Shonen Jump manga. Then we got Hermes Costello, voiced by Mutsumi Tamura in the sub version and by Tina Kamiko in the dub. Hermes is definitely up there as one of the best JoBros, but with a very short backstory that you see, but you also do see her evolve from just a random prisoner to Jolene's BFF, which is very nice. Then we got Emporio Al Nino, voiced by Atsumu Tamazaki in the sub version and by Casey Mongilio in the dub. Emporio is just a boring character in my opinion, just to be honest, but he's literally more just a less interesting Koichi. And then we got Jotaro Kujo, voiced by Daisuke Ono in the sub and by Matt Mercer in the dub. Our boy feels about the same as he did from part 4, aside with the minimal interactions that we had with him, because sadly my dude got completely sidelined. But it is good to see an anime dad actually stand up for once for their child, which it is very far and few between, especially in the shonen genre. Then we got Foo Fighters, voiced by Maria Iso in the sub version and by Brittany Londa in the dub. Foo Fighters is arguably one of the best JoBros, on the same level of someone like Bruno or Speedwagon. Just an absolute fucking G through and through really. Then we got Weather Report, voiced by Yuricho Umehara in the sub version and by Stephen Fu in the dub. Weather Report is an absolute mystery in the beginning, but then we do get to see his backstory. Weather was originally born as Domenico Pucci to the wealthy Pucci family and the younger fraternal twins. He was also stolen from the clinic nursery by a woman whose own baby had died the same day soon after birth. He then later lived the rest of his life as West Blue Marine. Now, I know this is also going a little bit aside from his backstory, because I never mentioned it in the actual footage itself, but I thought it would be more interesting to talk about it here, considering the fact that his backstory also does tie in very strongly to Pucci's as well. In his teenage years, he worked as a juice delivery boy, and then one fateful day, he stopped a thief from stealing Perla Pucci's bag, and within 2 weeks' time, the two began dating. Enrico Pucci, discovering that Weather was in fact his own twin brother, sought to separate them in a manner that would at least harm his sister. However, the private detective agency he used to accomplish this actually turned out to be run by the KKK, who subsequently looked into Weather's family history and found out that his mother had married an African American man. When the KKK members saw Perla give Weather a goodnight kiss, they attacked the pair and ultimately hanged Weather from a tree to die. Perla then cut him down, not realizing that he still had a faint pulse. She then committed suicide by jumping off a cliff. Not long after, when Pucci was stabbed by an arrow, Weather then gained a stand ability on his own as well. After regaining consciousness, he sought out the head of the private detective agency for information on Pucci. Weather was then filled with rage at both himself and the world, but his stand made it impossible for him to kill himself. He then tried to jump off a cliff, but the winds blew him back to the cliffside. He then tried to drown himself, but the waves pushed him back to the shore. He then even tried shooting himself, but the gun chamber was filled with water and refused to work. On the 4th day after his regained consciousness, snails began to rain from the sky as a result of his stand. Pucci then confronted Weather, but then revealed that they were brothers and removed Weather's memory disk using Whitesnake. At some point after that, without his memories, he then became Weather Report. Later on then, he was imprisoned in Green Dolphin Street Prison for attempted murder, and eventually met Emporio Al Nino and Narcisio Anasui. Then we got Narcisio Anasui, voiced by Daisuke Namikawa in the sub version and by Howard Wang in the dub. This guy is just an absolute fucking simp. I like the fit, but personality-wise, the moment this motherfucker saw Jolene, everything changed. We got shit like this, as you can see.
Oh boy, Jolene, that was a great set of episodes. I mean, me, fighting a lot of bad guys.
Narciso, you literally did nothing.
Then we got Enrico Pucci, voiced by Tomoko Saiki in the dub, and by Young Ye in the dub, Pucci comes down as only to just being Dio's boyfriend, but not exactly one of the best villains in the series in my opinion, but you can see this with his connection to Weather Report, why he's actually, and with Dio's influence, why he's actually become blinded by evil and hatred. But in my opinion, he's just not the best JoJo villain, because I don't think you generally cannot live up to a villain such as great as Kaz, or Yoshikage Kira, or even Dio for that matter. But this is all like pre-new timeline JoJo still. Then, we got my final verdict of the series. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Stone Ocean is not too bad, but it is nice to see a female character as a lead. From what I've seen at least, not come up much in shonen titles. But I do recommend it for those who have watched the previous parts of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure and want to see the ending of the original JoJo timeline, or if you just want to see an easy, like, background white noise part of an anime. Yeah, this would be definitely something that I recommend. So, without further ado, I want to thank you guys all for watching this. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you'll be up to date on everything I upload onto the channel. And also, don't forget to check out my social medias. I'm available on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all the usual bits and pieces you'll find in the description down below. If you miss any of my live streams on Twitch, do not worry, because I end up uploading all my live streams the next day onto the YouTube channel, so you guys won't be able to miss a beat. So, I can't think of anything else to say, so other than that, all I can say is I love you all, and I will see you lovely lads and ladies and everyone in the Big PP Nation. Stay strong and have a good one.